Hello, this is OpinionRadar, and welcome to my workshop walkthrough where we dissect the tools that make fine woodworking possible. Today, I'm shining a spotlight on a compact yet ambitious offering from Rockler, the Mini Deluxe panel clamps. As someone who spends countless hours aligning boards and battling uneven glue lines, I'm always on the lookout for anything that can tighten my workflow without sacrificing accuracy. In this video, I'll share my first impressions, discuss the design philosophy behind these clamps, and explain why they caught my eye before I even ran a test piece. Expect a candid look at how the set fits into a typical hobby shop, the ergonomics of handling a compact clamping solution, and what kind of preparation it demands. With that overview in mind, let's jump straight into the hands-on portion and see how they perform when the rubber meets the wood. When it comes to small-scale panel work, the Rockler Mini Deluxe panel clamps quickly become a go-to in my workshop. The set packs two 4-way pressure clamps into a compact package, each featuring a sawtooth gripping surface that bites securely into hardwood without marring the edges. Integrated clamp rails slide effortlessly through the end clamps, allowing you to apply even pressure on all four sides of a board, a design that saves a lot of time compared with traditional C-clamps. What I also appreciate is the included storage rack and hanging bracket, which keep the clamps organized and off the bench when they're not in use. At $90 for the pair, the price is competitive for a tool that delivers cabinet-grade clamping power in a miniature footprint, and the overall build quality feels robust enough to withstand daily use. In practice, I've found these clamps shine on projects like cutting board sets, small cabinet panels, and any glue-up where a flat, warp-free surface is critical. The 4-way action lets you sandwich a board between two opposing rails while the end clamps press the corners, delivering uniform pressure that eliminates the pesky bowing you often see with side-only clamps. Because the clamps are mini-sized, they fit comfortably around thin hardwood strips that would be cumbersome with larger bar clamps. That said, the system does require a dry assembly first so the springs can settle and the rails align correctly before the glue sets. Once you get the rhythm down, the clamps hold fast enough that you can leave the assembly undisturbed for the full cure time, which translates into fewer surprises when you finally flip the piece over. The positive aspects of the Mini Deluxe set quickly outweigh the quirks once you've mastered the setup. The clamps are built from hardened steel, and the sawtooth jaws stay true even after repeated tightening, so you never have to worry about the metal slipping under pressure. The spring-loaded mechanism provides a surprisingly strong clamping force for such a small tool, giving you that cabinet-grade bite without the bulk of a full-size 4-way clamp. I also love the anti-stick coating on the jaw surfaces. During several glue UPS, the adhesive didn't cling to the metal, which saved me a lot of cleanup time. The included hanging bracket and storage rack are more than just accessories. They keep the clamps accessible yet out of the way, a subtle but welcome boost to workshop organization. Overall, the durability and thoughtful details make these clamps feel like an investment that will pay off for years. That said, the learning curve is real, and the first few glue UPS can feel like a juggling act. The spring tension, while powerful, makes it easy to over-tighten the ends, which can lead to uneven pressure if you're only using the two clamps for a 24-inch board. In my early attempts, I noticed the ends of a charcuterie board sagged slightly, requiring extra sanding to bring the surface back to level. The rail sliding action also demands a bit of patience. You have to line the top and bottom rails in the exact same slot before tightening, otherwise the clamps can bind or wobble. For longer panels, two clamps simply aren't enough. You'll need to add one or two more in the middle to maintain flatness, which somewhat defeats the compact-only appeal. Finally, the initial setup can be finicky, especially if you're in a hurry and the glue is already setting, so planning a dry run is essential. The first time I tackled a 24-inch charcuterie board with the Mini Deluxe clamps, I learned the hard way that placement matters. I positioned the two clamps right at the ends, but because the jaws weren't close enough to the edge, the board's middle sagged, and I ended up sanding a full quarter of an inch off the top to correct the warp. After that lesson, I started nesting a third clamp roughly halfway along the rail, and I also moved the clamps a half inch closer to the board's edge. That small adjustment gave the springs a better lever arm and produced a truly flat panel with virtually no post-glue sanding. The anti-stick coating saved me from glue seeping into the clamp jaws, and the hanging bracket let me swing the whole assembly off the bench while the glue cured, keeping my work surface clean. A few weeks later, I used a pair of the larger Rockler clamps on a 48-inch tabletop, and the experience was identical. Once the setup routine became second nature, the results were consistently flawless. In the end, the Rockler Mini Deluxe panel clamps earn a permanent spot in my toolbox for any small to medium panel project. For the $90 price tag, you get a set that delivers cabinet-grade clamping force, durable construction, and thoughtful accessories that keep your bench tidy. The only real drawback is the initial learning curve. A quick dry run and a couple of extra clamps for longer boards will smooth out any kinks. If you're serious about producing flat, glue joint-free panels, whether you're making cutting boards, drawer fronts, or petite cabinet faces, these clamps are worth the upfront effort. I'd even suggest purchasing a second pair or stepping up to the larger version when you start tackling 48-inch or larger panels. Once the routine is dialed in, the results speak for themselves. Tight, flat panels with minimal post-glue cleanup. Thanks for watching my in-depth look at the Rockler Mini Deluxe panel clamps. If you found this guide useful, smash the like button and lock in future woodshop insights by subscribing. Grab a pair, fire up your next project, and stay tuned for more precision tools today, and see you again.